Graphic design? Can you make a living at that?
Three, two, one, fun, 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 fun.
Welcome to Design Futures, a show about what happens after design school. I'm Chris St. Cyr, and my guest on this episode is Stephanie Pepaj. It's great to see you.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Stephanie is a freelance digital marketeer and designer focusing on the food and beverage space. In 2021, she received her master's degree in marketing from Queen's University Belfast in Northern Ireland. And she is a 2019 graduate of the College of St. Rose. It's good to catch up.
Yeah, lots of learning since I've left Stroh's or just in life in general.
Yeah, informal learning and formal in the classroom learning. I was curious. I came across your profile. I noticed you were, at the time, you were in Northern Ireland. You were in Belfast. And I saw that in your header, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
My former St. Rose students is in Belfast. Like, that's crazy. I have to figure out what's going on there. So can you tell me, how did you decide that you were going to go get another degree a couple years after graduating undergrad?
I think I always wanted to, first of all, leave the country at some point and live in another country for, a long amount of time. But I think what really pushed it along to go and get another degree was the pandemic. Everyone was doing like a lot of weird stuff in the pandemic. We were all like buying a lot of toilet paper, baking bread, and my idea was to go and get another degree. So when I first was like applying to grad school, I was going for like UX UI design school, more of like web stuff. I kind of like applied to different programs, and then one day I was in a coffee shop freelancing, and I overheard a conversation between two girls, and they were discussing the marketing program at Queen's. And I just like looked it up and applied on the spot. So it was very spontaneous and not really planned. I knew that marketing is very closely related to design, and I knew it would help and also bring to life my dream of living in another country. So
Yeah.
And I never saw myself going to school again because I found that all conversations about grad school connected to like an undergrad design degree were, oh, you go to grad school for if you want to teach design later on, or if you want to like specialize or something. So it was like, oh, great, I don't really have to go that route. It turned out that this was just the way it was, and I was excited for it.
What was the experience like going to like just like grad school in general? Was it similar to undergrad? Was it different?
I would say that grad school is different from undergrad, where it's a lot less like, assignments all the time. You have to like do one big assignment for each class, and that's your grade for the class. So it's very drawn out process, I would say, for each semester
Yeah.
in terms of like grading and like understanding materials.
Was the school structure, was it different than what you experienced at St. Rose? Like, just, I don't know, how faculty engage with students, or just any of that part of like navigating a new institution?
I felt like the faculty were much more laid back, I guess, which was very surprising. I thought going to grad school would be much more intense, but it's like your own, but you're your own boss,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you do have, right, a lot of times in grad programs that you have more kind of independence, right? And so it's up to you to kind of figure out a lot of things. So what kind of courses, what was the program like? What were you kind of focusing on in terms of marketing? Because I'm not a marketing person. What did you learn about marketing in this program?
Yeah, I wasn't either. I turned into one. Yeah, I think at first it was a lot of just like, foundation classes, like just we did a digital marketing course, which was really fun because that was a lot of like design stuff,
Mhm.
and more creative. I had to take an accounting class. There's a lot of like measuring things and numbers, and you have to understand like the market and you have to watch a lot of different things going on online. And I had to take an international marketing class, which was, I felt like being there was already international marketing for me. It was just a year program. So
Okay.
they kind of condensed it down, which was really nice because in the States, I think you have to go for 2 years. So it was 1 year there.
Yeah, it depends on the program. There's some programs that are like that. They're kind of for the full calendar year, right? And then really packed in as opposed to like 2 academic years. So one question that I certainly wanted to ask about that, like how did that experience, how does it connect with your undergrad design degree?
I think they're very much intertwined. They're like close relatives. And I feel like I really got to know the one person, as in the design part, and I never really heard the other relative story. So that getting to know that other side really brought everything together because I feel like the marketing degree was almost like supposed to come first before the design degree because a lot of the like creating campaigns and messaging and communications part of it, that's kind of like what you would set up before you design something. So I feel like the degree will really help me in like communicating things and understanding like audiences and then visualizing it in the end with the design degree.
Yeah, it's interesting. I did have to look up marketeer versus marketer. The marketeer, at least the definition I was reading, was in some ways maybe about, not necessarily user, but like more about the experience of a product or a service. Does that sound right, or does that sound like something that you were exploring? Or
I agree. I think it's more about maybe someone who's like talking to people and storytelling more
Mhm.
than analytics and numbers and all of that. I would say I'm more on that area of
Yeah,
marketing. I kind of fell into like social media marketing and digital marketing in that area. Also, I think that was like my first title out of grad school that was given to me by the company I worked at in Belfast.
yeah.
They called me a digital marketeer, so I kind of just stuck with the name.
I learned something. I was like, I don't know, is that a typo? There weren't too many e's there, but I looked it
That's
up.
what
It's
I
like,
thought
and it
too.
is there is a difference. So that was interesting
Even
to
when I look at it too long, I'm like, there's something wrong with this.
yeah. So yeah, you mentioned Thought Collective was this company you work for. Did you work for them in while you're in school, or did you stay in Belfast and work after you graduated?
Yeah, so while I was in grad school, finishing up the degree, the tail end of the degree was like this during the summertime, and I had to work on a dissertation. So during that time, I was just focusing on that. So I thought, oh, maybe this would be a good time to like look for like an internship or apply to some jobs and just see what happens. So I was just applying to, even to design jobs, and I got accepted with Thought Collective. They're a digital agency in Belfast, and I was working with them part-time towards the end of my degree. And then I went full-time, and they thankfully sponsored me to work with them full-time. So I was able to stay in Belfast and live there for another like 2 years.
Do you feel the graduate degree was worth it? You feel like it's
Yeah,
it's worth the time and the money and the resources and all that?
I'd say it's worth it because of I learned a lot, not only about marketing and then adding that to the design world, but about myself. I think like I put myself in a very vulnerable position moving away like that, and not knowing anyone. And I just grew a lot from that experience. So I think like the money that it took to do all that is worth it because I think you have to have a lot of like great life experience as well. It can't just be like all work. So even if like you're shooting in the dark and doing something that's like really out of left field, I think it always works out for you in the end because you're like taking a chance.
Mm. That's great to hear. I think, that's going to another country, especially you don't know anybody, it's definitely, like you said, you put yourself in that vulnerable space, and that's not easy. Not everybody could do that. So did you make friends and find your people and have social
Yeah.
time with people when you could meet in person and all that? Yeah.
Yeah. I had to join some stuff. Like I joined the softball team.
Have you ever played softball before?
Yes, yeah. So
Okay,
I
that's
had
good.
that work going for me, but I actually met some really great friends through that. Just going out and doing uncomfortable things in hopes to make friends. Making friends as an adult is very different from when you're in college too.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their routine and plan, and you kind of have to like really
Yeah.
put yourself out there.
Yeah, it's kind of like dating, you know. It's like, I don't
Yeah, it
know, are they gonna
is.
like me enough? Do they want to like, are they gonna let me play softball with them? Yeah.
They did.
So what was that part of the experience like, just living in Belfast? I mean, Belfast has a lot of history, a lot of recent history that's certainly challenging to read about at times. What was it like? What was the cultural aspect like?
I felt everyone was always trying to have a good time,
Yeah.
and they were very welcoming, and everyone is super friendly. Definitely, it did take a while to pick up on the sarcasm. You can't really be offended or anything because that's just how everyone jokes around. People very much love to socialize. They like to go out and meet for a coffee and have a cup of tea. Yeah, it's actually a very safe place, even though like when I was moving there, people would say, "Oh, you're going to Belfast. That's like dangerous." But it's really not. It's just a lot of there's just a lot of like yeah, like you say, interesting history, and I learned a lot about like their culture and their like religious and conflict, and at times it's still present, but like it was it was just great to like understand another culture and get out of like I guess my bubble.
So you mentioned Thought Collective and you started doing some work there. You started working with some food, beverage, restaurant kinds of clients, doing social media, and now you're doing more of that as in your freelance work. Can you talk about what's it like being a freelancer? Like how do you navigate all that entails?
It's definitely learn as you go, I think,
Yeah.
but I do like the freedom that it brings. Yeah, I do a lot of design work for like for blogs, and I still continue the social media design work and marketing stuff. I did a lot of like the marketing and digital work at Thought Collective. Basically, I would just manage social media profiles. I would create content for them and schedule out like month to 3 months time of like social media posts. It's definitely like it's exciting, but it's also frustrating because it's exciting to create visuals and like with a design background, what's gonna look good on a feed or do well as a post. But with the marketing side of it, you're focused on numbers. So you're focused on like how many people like it, how many views are you getting? Is the Instagram algorithm working against me or with me today?
Yeah.
So I really enjoy the whole concoction that it is with both sides of design and analytical side. But yeah, right now I'm just kind of learning as I go with freelance, and yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah, you mentioned like planning out like months in advance. So so you have like this calendar that you're setting up for social media posts. Like what kind of tool are you using for that?
Yeah, so I would use later.com. That was helpful. But now I just use Meta because they've figured out how to create an in-app like scheduling tool. And it's pretty handy because everything's linked to Meta now. Yeah, if you go into like the Meta suite, you could go and like schedule posts for Instagram and Facebook. But I guess later would work better for like TikTok and Twitter and Snapchat altogether
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they're not
yeah.
part of Meta.
Some students are curious about doing freelance work and working for themselves and having that freedom like you're talking about and kind of being the boss. And there's a challenge of like you got to do all the things, including getting the client. So how do you get new clients? How has that happened for you?
I've thought about this too. Like, I'm like, how did that happen? It's all been word of mouth. This person I'm working for, they have a friend and they need something, and then it's kind of passed on that way. But I know other people also do well with like promoting themselves on social media. Like in the future, I really hope to create like a business and start attracting clients through social media that way. I think once you get one good client, it kind of leads to other things.
That's the way to do it. I think at all levels, all experiences, whether you're starting out like yourself or you're, been doing it for 20 or 40 years, like word of mouth is the best because people can vouch for you. They get to know you and they're an advocate for you.
Right.
Yeah. So are there any challenges with working with freelance clients?
I guess in the past, my first year out of St. Rose, I was freelancing, and then the pandemic came, and then I went to school. So that first year was a huge like learning curve because I didn't know what to charge. I didn't know like how to do an invoice. You're just learning all that stuff. But I've had a client or two, you know, send things back and forth and back and forth. And I guess it's just understanding boundaries and what, like, say, how many times you're going to correct something before you charge, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I've had clients like, they want one thing and then, or make it pop.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
And then
yeah,
you
that
make
one.
it pop, and then you make it pop, and they want it to pop a different way. Uh,
I don't know what you mean by you're popping. To me, it's popping. Yeah. Pop a
yeah,
different way.
right. Also, I think it's very important to be very clear on your capacity and your timeline of getting things done if you're juggling multiple projects, because like we talked about, you are your own boss. Sometimes I personally have the tendency to think I could do it all, and then I take on too much, and then I'm burnt out.
Yeah. Do you have people that you partner with? Like, I don't know, that do other things that your client might need, like writing the code for a website or writing copy, or I don't know, are there other people that you've worked with in the past?
I've checked in with someone on copywriting who was at the time I didn't have my marketing background, so I would check in with them in terms of marketing. At the moment, it's just a one woman show, which is fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of balls in the air. You gotta juggle a lot, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't go near things that I if I had to write a code or something, I would have
Yeah.
to like obviously outsource that. And in the future to do like social media stuff, there's a lot of working with like photographers and outsourcing that work. Like a lot of what I did at Thought Collective was working with like planning photo shoots and working with a
Mm.
photographer to like get content and batch the content for the a social media account for like say a few months.
Well, so let's talk about school where we met at St. Rose. I was your advisor and faculty. What was your experience like in the graphic design program at the College of St. Rose?
It was I laughed because it was amazing, and I met amazing people, and I learned so much. It was really pushed you though. It pushed you to the breaking point at times, but in a good way. Yeah, I felt like I really loved how, you started off not right away onto the computer. You were drawing, you're painting, you were getting your hands dirty, and then you got into learning all the programs. It was structured very well because, you could kind of ease into it. And I just really liked how thorough everything was. I liked how I was able to get like a art history background too, and learn like color theory. And yeah, there's just a lot of great memories there. And Peacock Hall, which is no, not there.
Oh, it's still there. It's just someday soon it'll be an apartment building. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
which is
wearing I'm
okay.
wearing the shirt.
When were they selling those shirts?
That last year, maybe. The
Uh,
Yeah, so you mentioned it was challenging. Did you have any days that or nights in the studio that ended in tears? It wasn't that
Oh, all the
hard.
time.
What?
I think a lot of people, if whoever is hearing this right now, um, I remember lots of X-Acto blade cuts and
Oh yeah.
literal blood, sweat, and tears. No, but it was you were in it all in it together too, which I really love. Like when you go to school, you go to these classes with a lot of people usually, like big lecture halls and stuff. But we had such a like the classes were what, 8 to 10 people at times, so you really just got to know everyone and get really close with everyone. And we're all still friends today. But I think a lot of like that pressure too has helped in the real world. Like I think I still work under St. Rose pressure. And I feel like I have a critique coming at 8 in the morning.
Yeah. It should be challenging, right? Because,
Yeah, it should
when you get
be.
out, it's going to be challenging if you're doing it
Hmm.
right. One question that I ask a lot of people, and I think it's maybe more, you can answer it more clearly because it's only been a few years since you've graduated or since undergrad. When you think about that experience at St. Rose, now looking back at it, are there things that could have been done differently to better prepare you when you got your BFA degree?
Yeah, I would say obviously more focus on digital and maybe even like motion video is really big right now. A lot of design is moving. And I know a lot of your classes were touched on that. I would also say maybe it would have been helpful to know more of like the business side of all of this because we were prepared very well with like our portfolio and all of that. But I would say like maybe there's this whole idea of like the business of design and freelance that could have been explored, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Because it's a really big strength to have this degree in this type of world we're living in where digital nomads exist because you could really create something amazing. I think that was just the tools we were missing were those
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like business savvy stuff.
And it's interesting because I did want to ask you about your internship because that was with a digital company. It's Ceros. Is that the name of the company you did your internship
Yeah,
with?
Saros, yeah,
Ceros.
they allow people to design websites without code, so they sell the software to big companies and they use that to design websites. So yeah, that really was helpful because I was able to see like that whole UX UI side and when I went on to freelance, I had to design an app. So that really helped.
How did you get that internship?
Yeah, I was my cousin knew a girl that worked there and yeah, she was like, you should apply to this company, and that's how it happened.
And so was that internship in New York City or where'd you do that internship?
Yeah, I was in New York City, like right around the corner from the Flatiron, which was really fun to live there for the summer.
Was it a paid internship?
Yes, thankfully.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that always helps. So it sounds like St. Rose was good. It was good for you. Good to you. You made a lot of good friends. I do remember your group being particularly joyful, fun, loving, free form, like just
A
uh
little crazy.
yeah, crazy is a good word. There's a core group of you that when I think of that group, like a lot of smiling, a lot of laughing, a lot of goofing off, doing good work too, working hard, but having fun. Seems like you had fun. So, how did you get there? You're from Cooperstown, right? Did you grow up in Cooperstown?
Yeah, well, actually, I grew up in Florida, and then
Okay.
I moved to New York, and yeah, I grew up in like the Cooperstown area.
What was like before St. Rose? High school, middle school? Were you an art kid and like painting and drawing, or you're doing something else?
Yeah, I was sort of an art kid. Yeah, I was always like really into art, always drawing. Like I would spend a lot of my time on the weekend, like in my room, just drawing. Even like as a child, I was really into like the crafts and painting with my really artsy too,
Yeah.
and drawing. Yeah, and then in high school, took all the art classes, and then I thought I was going to be like a fashion designer at one point, and then
Oh,
maybe even like just an artist. But then I realized that's really hard. So then
that's really hard. So it's being a graphic designer.
it is, yeah. So was
Yeah,
that too. I think
that
everything's
too.
just a little hard, but
And so how did you find out about St. Rose or the design program there?
my cousin, both of my cousins went there. Yeah, when I was looking for graphic design programs, that was one of them. And it was a good distance, and Albany's pretty fun. I didn't know anything about graphic design either. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do out of high school. And my mom was like, you should do graphic design. It's like you like art, and there's like, you could make a good job out of that one day.
Oh, good for you, mom. Like that's
Yeah, your mom just knows you.
she has the foresight to know that you can take art and turn it into, a job. Sounds like life is good. Your website says, when I'm not designing or partaking in creative activities, you can find me practicing yoga, traveling, frequenting the best coffee shop in town. Let's talk about all of those things. Yoga.
Yeah.
So I got a story for you. But I remember I had this lesson about like, here, let's use an image and place some text next to it and see what communicates. And I had this image of a person doing some yoga move, which just seems impossible to me. I mean, I've done a little bit of yoga in my life, but like, so this person was like on her forearms and like, like basically doing some kind of headstand, handstand, and her legs were all bent. And it was like, I don't know how anybody could stand up there like that, even for a second. And then one of your classmates says, "Oh, Stephanie can do that." I'm like, what? Are you serious? So,
That's so funny.
so yoga. So, and I have seen photos of you doing the same pose. Do you do yoga like every day? Is it like a serious practice? Do you take classes? What's your connection to yoga?
Yeah, yoga is a huge part of my life. I would say it's the biggest. It got me through all of college, moving to a new country. Yeah, I use it to get into my body, into my breath, and then get out of my head. I think it's really important to get back into your body and realize that you are one whole being instead of all your thoughts and everything you're thinking all day and all the stresses that come up. And I think breathing and focusing on your body and breath can really help you be creative as well. There's like a lot of studies on it. But yeah, I find it's a very like grounding place for me to, to
Yeah.
be myself.
Do you like know it enough to like just do your own routine? Are you following along with like a video or audio or something?
Yeah, now I could do it. Now I could do it by myself. I've been
Oh.
doing it for like 7 years now.
And there's a lot of travel in seems like in your Instagram anyway. I don't know. You were recently looked like you were hiking some mountains or something. Is that in upstate New York here or are you somewhere else recently?
No, I wish that was close by. I was in Washington. I went to like the national parks there and did some hiking. We saw two bears,
Oh,
survived. Yeah.
saw two bears from a distance.
From a distance. It's
Yeah.
still scary from a distance.
Yeah. So hiking, what about the camping part? Were you like camping or just hiking?
No, we're Airbnb-ing it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That,
I can't do the
yeah,
camping.
it's too much.
I'm fine with a hike, although I haven't done a hike in a while, but yeah, at the end of the day, I gotta be in civilization.
Yeah, get a nice shower, get some dinner,
Yeah,
electricity. Yeah,
yeah, right.
no bears.
Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah, Wi-Fi, exactly.
Did you get to travel a little bit when you were over in Northern Ireland? Did you go to other parts of Europe?
Yeah, because it's really easy to get around to Europe from like Dublin and really cheap because it's like an hour, 2 hours to Italy, and then it's like an hour to 40-minute plane to England. So it was that if I was gonna do traveling, it was then to like get it all in because from the US it's such a long flight and everything. But yeah, I went to like Austria, Germany, Tenerife. I visited my dad's homeland. He's from Kosovo. So we went and visited my family for the first time there. And then,
Oh wow. I wanted to ask you because you mentioned previously, and I saw it on your portfolio. So your family has a restaurant, Toscana, is that how you pronounce it?
yeah, Toscana.
It's Italian food, Northern Italian.
Yeah, Northern Italian food. Yeah, in Cooperstown.
Yeah. And so did you design the menu or design the identity?
Yeah, I design. Well, my parents like you're a designer now. You design the restaurants.
What was that like working for family as a designer? Because I know what it's like for me.
I think my mom had it all planned out, and she was like, "Go to school for design." No, I'm kidding. I think it's not that hard because like they let me do whatever I want, but and you have like creative freedom, but
Yeah.
it's kind of the same like make it pop stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, parents. So family can be some of the more challenging clients. Yeah. Are there other things you do to relax, chill out, not think too much about work?
I like to go swimming. I like to do cold plunges. Me and my partner, when we were back in Belfast, we would go to the sea a lot and go like we they call it sea swimming over there, and everyone does it. Like every age, they just go in the freezing water and they go for like a 15-minute swim. That's something like I really like to do recently. Yeah, I think that's the main stuff, like yoga, like getting outdoors, cooking, trying new things.
Yeah, cooking. So yeah, because you have this family restaurant. Did you grow up cooking? When you weren't doing drawing and painting, were you in the kitchen?
No, I was eating the food.
What?
Yeah, I probably should have paid attention more, but yeah, like I pretty much grew up in the restaurant, so I was like surrounded by like the restaurant business and cooking and like that fast kitchen atmosphere.
Yeah.
But I never really like learned to cook there. I guess my dad teaches me things at home
Mm.
because he's a chef. Yeah, I kind of just discovered on my own, living on my own how to cook because
Yeah.
that's when you really figure it out, right? When you're on your own. Did a lot of cooking when I was in Belfast. I think I also really enjoy going out to eat for like cafe scene. I'm not a dinner person or like a lunch person, but I love a good brunch.
Yeah.
And there's something about going to a really cool cafe where you can have a cup of coffee and like there's good music playing and the atmosphere is great.
All right. It's time for the pop quiz. Are you ready?
Oh, okay, I'm
Yeah.
ready, I guess.
When you're working, what kind of music do you listen to?
Oh, like techno.
Favorite item on the Toscana menu?
Oh gosh. Seafood salad.
What's in it? Like
It's
shrimp, scallops.
shrimp, calamari, squangeli, and then it's like marinated in lemon and garlic. It's really good.
Sounds good. I'll have to order it next time I'm in Cooperstown. All right, work
Hmm.
beverage. Got to stay hydrated. Just water.
Oh, no, I have like usually an assortment of drinks. There's
Yeah.
this meme that goes around. It's like you need one drink to go fast, like caffeine. You need one drink for hydration and then one for fun. So usually mine's just like my big water cup, iced coffee, and then some sort of fancy seltzer.
Sketchbook, blank or gridded?
Gridded for sure.
Type or image?
Type.
Type. You better say type. You went to St. Rose. Child's pose or happy baby?
Oh, that's good. Child's pose for sure.
Yeah,
Happy baby is like, I don't know, the stretch isn't as good.
it's fun. First time I did it, like, yeah, I feel like a happy baby. It's weird. It reminds me of my kids when they were babies. They would always do that. Like, wow, okay. Warrior one or warrior two?
Oh, definitely Warrior 2.
Yeah.
Warrior 1 is too funky.
Favorite meal to cook?
Oh, avocado toast and eggs.
That sounds good. Yeah, you're a brunchy cafe person. So, okay, what is pincha maya rasana?
Oh, it's when you it's like not a headstand, but it's similar to a headstand when you're balancing on your forearms and then your head is kind of up and then your legs are up in the air.
All right, you got it. You nailed it. That's that one you do all the time. But you know the name of it too. Favorite social media platform to design for?
For sure, Instagram.
For sure, Instagram. Yeah, Instagram posts or stories or reels. Any preference?
I think reels now. Reels are really fun.
All right, last question in the quiz is, if you weren't a designer slash marketeer, what would you be?
A yoga instructor.
That seems very fitting. Sounds good. Okay, so any final thoughts for design students? Anything they should know about coming right out of school?
I would say don't rush anything, just let things be and come as they are. And if you put your energy out there and your creativity and your hard work, the right career and position and opportunity will come to you.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. Like, put yourself out there. Don't try to force it too much. Sometimes things just happen. You're in the right place at the right time. Stephanie, it was great catching up with you.
It was so great chatting.
Yeah.
Thank you for this.
Yeah, it was certainly fun. I'm glad you're well. The next time I'm in Cooperstown, if you're still there, I'll let you know. I'll give you a heads up.
Yeah, please. And don't forget to get your lunch.
Oh yeah, get some lunch, people. Stephanie's classmates will know what we're talking about. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Chat soon. Thanks. Bye.
So, what do we learn from Stephanie? Number one, set boundaries with your clients, especially if those clients are family. And number two, get out of your head, do some yoga. Thanks to Stephanie Pepaj for joining me on this episode. If you have any comments or questions for me or any of the guests, please leave them in the comments. And subscribe so you can catch the next episode of Design Futures. Until next time, go learn something. Your future depends on it. Thanks for listening. See ya.